It was late, nearly midnight, when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. My wife, Elena, was sitting beside me, her face lit by the faint blue glow of her own screen. She'd been scrolling for over an hour, barely saying a word. I thought she was texting one of her friends from work, or maybe her sister. But when I reached for my phone and saw the message notification, my stomach twisted. It was from her. "I wish you were more like him," the text read. And below it, a picture of her ex. For a few seconds I couldn't breathe. My hand froze on the screen as if holding it any longer might burn me. I turned to her, still half hoping it was some cruel mistake. A wrong send, an accidental message meant for someone else. But when she noticed me staring, her expression changed. Her eyes widened, panic flickered, and then she looked away. That's when I knew it wasn't a mistake. "Elena," I said slowly, my voice shaking more from disbelief than anger. "You sent me something. Care to explain?" Her throat tightened. "It's not what you think," she stammered. "I was just venting. You've been so distant lately and—" "Venting," I repeated. "You texted your husband that you wish he was more like your ex. How exactly does that qualify as venting?" She stood up, clutching her phone like it could somehow protect her. "You're overreacting, Ryan. It was a joke." I laughed. It wasn't the kind of laugh that comes from amusement. It was the kind that escapes when something inside you breaks. "A joke," I muttered, setting the phone down gently. "Right. Hilarious." For a long time, neither of us spoke. The air between us felt heavy, sharp, almost electric with all the words we weren't saying. I could see the guilt flickering behind her eyes, but pride held her tongue hostage. Finally, I said, "Do you still talk to him?" Her silence was my answer. That night I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I didn't beg for an explanation. I simply grabbed my keys, walked out of the house, and drove until the city lights faded behind me. I parked by the lake where we'd once celebrated our anniversary, and for the first time I felt something worse than anger. I felt done. Love doesn't die with a scream. Sometimes it just runs out quietly, one disappointment at a time, until there's nothing left but a phone screen and a message that ends everything. I stayed by that lake until sunrise, watching the sky bleed from gray to gold. My mind replayed everything: the night she'd gone quiet, the time she'd turned her phone face down when a message came through, the sudden excuses about working late. I had ignored them all because I wanted to believe her. Because love makes you blind in the most painful ways. When I finally returned home, the house felt eerily calm. Elena was sitting at the kitchen table, a cup of untouched coffee in her hands. Her eyes were swollen from crying, but she tried to speak before I even sat down. "Ryan, I know I hurt you," she began softly, "but it wasn't supposed to mean anything. I was comparing and it was stupid. You don't understand how lonely I've been lately." I looked at her, my voice calm but empty. "You were lonely, so you texted me about your ex? That's how you deal with loneliness?" Tears filled her eyes. "Please don't twist it." "No," I interrupted. "I'm not twisting anything. You already did that. You twisted every ounce of trust one had left." She tried to reach for my hand, but I pulled it away. That simple motion, her reaching out and me stepping back, felt like the final act of something already broken. For the next few days we barely spoke. The silence between us became unbearable, but I refused to be the one to bridge it this time. I started sleeping in the guest room, keeping my phone locked, and coming home later than usual. I wanted her to feel the void she had created, the weight of her own carelessness. One night she knocked on my door. "Ryan, can we talk?" Her voice cracked. "I made a mistake, but I love you. I swear it was just words. Nothing happened between me and him." I sighed, looking at her with a kind of sadness that words couldn't touch. "You think betrayal only counts when someone crosses a physical line. But Elena, emotional betrayal cuts deeper. Because you have to feel something first to destroy it." Her tears fell harder then and she whispered, "What are you going to do?" "I already did it," I said. "I called my lawyer." Her face went pale. She looked at me like I just pulled the ground out from under her. For once, she didn't have an argument ready. No excuses, no denial, just the sound of her breath catching in her throat. The next morning, I didn't wake up to her usual routine. No sound of the kettle, no soft footsteps. The house was silent. When I stepped into the kitchen, I saw her sitting there again, still in the same clothes from the night before, her hair tangled, her eyes red. She looked like she hadn't slept at all. "Ryan," she said quietly, "you really called your lawyer?" "Yes," I replied, pouring myself a cup of coffee. "He'll handle the rest." She stood up, trembling. "Please, you don't have to do this. We can fix it. I'll delete everything, I'll cut contact with him, I'll prove it to you." I looked at her, my voice flat. "You can't prove love with desperation, Elena. It's either there or it's not. You proved something else entirely." Her lips quivered. "It was just a stupid message. I didn't sleep with him. I just wanted to feel something again. And you thought sending that picture comparing me to him would help you feel alive?" I asked. "All it did was kill what we had left." She dropped her gaze, whispering, "I didn't think you'd actually leave." "That's the problem," I said. "You thought you could say whatever you wanted, cross whatever line you pleased, and I'd still be here waiting. That's what broke me." I set my cup down and walked past her toward the door. "The papers will arrive soon. Sign them and don't call me." Her voice cracked behind me. "Ryan, I love you." I stopped but didn't turn around. "You loved the version of me that didn't stand up for himself. That man's gone." When I stepped outside, the air felt cleaner somehow. Lighter. It was strange. I should have felt angry, shattered, maybe even vengeful. But instead there was peace. The kind that only comes when you finally stop chasing what's already lost. Days turned into weeks. She texted a few times, apologies, promises, fragments of guilt. I didn't respond. Eventually, her number disappeared from my phone. One afternoon I saw her downtown. She was walking alone, holding her purse tightly, her eyes scanning faces like she was looking for something she knew she'd never find again. Our eyes met for a second, and in that moment I saw it. The regret. The hollow kind that doesn't fade. She smiled weakly, but I just nodded and kept walking. Because sometimes silence speaks louder than revenge. And for the first time in years I didn't feel like I'd lost something. I felt free.